welcome to our Halloween special. As you can see, if you're watching the YouTube special, then you can see that Taylor has come as Ahsoka. And we are joined by a very special guest. When he's not blasting resistance fighters out of space, it's still Jimmy.
Yeah.
Still Jimmy.
Awesome. Love it. Love the effort.
Jack, you're a tourist. Is that your costume? Tourist in Cancun?
Yeah, that's me, mate. Oh, this is the best I could do.
Yeah, like Jack said, it's our Halloween special. I'm going to try to... I don't know how these guys fly TIE fighters and these things. I can't see anything. I can't punch buttons I usually punch, so hang on a second.
I can't see anything in this helmet.
I can't see anything in here. Yeah, I feel like Luke Skywalker. Oh my gosh. That thing is hot. I don't know how the 501st does it. I guess I don't have my fan in there, but yeah, okay, great. So let's get started. We're going to jump right into this special. I'm going to give you guys, I'm the history teacher here, so I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown. Carving pumpkins, trick-or-treating, and wearing scary costumes are some of the time-honored traditions of Halloween. Yet the Halloween holiday has its roots in the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, a pagan religious celebration to welcome the harvest of the end of the summer. When people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor saints. Soon after, All Saints' Day came to incorporate some of the traditions of Samhain. The evening before All Saints' Day was known as All Hallows' Eve, and later Halloween. Here's a look at the origins of some of the classic Halloween traditions. And the first one is carving jack-o'-lanterns. Actually started in Ireland, carving up turnips instead of pumpkins. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Dressing up was so that you could fool the evil spirits that were out looking for you. So people wore disguises.
Of course.
Yeah, and then...
Of course.
Yeah, so there's much debates about the origins of trick-or-treating, but generally there are three stories. The first being the Samhain, and then a few other ones. But do you guys do anything special for Halloween? We'll get together tomorrow night with my family, with my wife's family, and we'll have dinner. And then my little nephews will go trick-or-treating and have some fun, and we'll stay at their house and give out candy because they live in a pretty populated area. Do you guys do anything other than that? I mean, as a kid, I did some bad stuff.
Yeah. Can't say I haven't blown up a pumpkin or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we just take our little one out trick-or-treating now. But you know what? We actually just went to a Halloween party last night, and we went indoor not golf karting, go-karting. And I feel like I have like mega whiplash from, all of the crashing. So, but yeah, that's about it. That's what we're going to do.
Nice.
What do you guys do over there in the UK?
The kids are going trick-or-treating. Obviously, I'm still abroad, so I won't be with my family.
Oh.
But my kids, they're all going trick-or-treating. They went to a Halloween party last night at a local club. So they'll be loving life, and hopefully Tessa leaves me some sweets when I get back home.
Yeah. But don't eat them all in one night. You gotta spread it out.
Oh yeah, gotta spread it out. All right. Well, we're gonna dive into it. We put out some on the socials. What are the scariest things in Star Wars? What scared you when you were a little kid? What scared you now? We have some good stuff here. I've got a few surprise questions for Jack and Taylor. I'm sorry, Jack and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and get started with some of our listeners. You have your notes there. I'll start with the Brandalorian, and you guys can hop in after me. The Brandalorian says Vader on Mapuzo when he choked that kid in the alley, or the night troopers returning as zombies. So there's two good scary ones. One from Kenobi, and then one from the Ahsoka show.
Brando, you said the one that I was going to say with the Vader.
You can still say it. You're still allowed to be scared of it too.
Yeah, I am still scared of it.
Nice. We've got Cooper Weaver. He's mentioned the zombie virus comic. I'm not even sure what that is, the zombie virus comic. You heard of that one?
Ooh.
No, I have not. So I'll have to ask him, and we'll find out. And once we find out, we'll get it to you.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
There's so much Star Wars. It's not like we can cover all of it. Jeez.
Yeah.
Russell Baldwin said, very first movie experience I can remember in the theater. 1980. I am 5 years old, and when Han cuts open the tauntaun and the guts all come out, we were in the front row of the theater looking up, and it was burnt into my memory. Russell, that is the that's so traumatizing. Oh my gosh, you can practically smell it when it happens too.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like steam coming out. Oh my gosh.
Jared Foster says Wampa. Talk about a warm sensation running down your leg. It's on he was so scared. He's also hates the Tusken Raider yelp. It says it still creeps him out.
So creepy.
Yeah. And we've got Adam Devolt again. He's got one of mine where Luke's going into the cave on Dagobah, and Vader comes out revealing himself with his infamous breathing noise.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That was a good one too.
It's a very good one.
All right, so we have a ton more to read, but we're going to stop before we do that, and I'm going to ask you guys, what scared you? Now, this is the fun thing about Star Wars is, I can remember watching it pretty young, and as we get older. So when I asked you guys this question, first off, what was the first thing that popped into your head, Jack? What's the scariest thing? And it can be something everyone already said. It's fine.
The charred remains of Aunt Beru and
Uncle Owen. No,
seeing that was a bit like, oh wow, okay.
Oh my gosh.
I've got three things. I've tried to put them into like categories of the age that I was at when I watched it. So for me, when I was young, it was the charred remains, and then growing up was the brain worms in Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, that episode with like the
those
zombie.
things creep me out a lot.
Yeah,
big time.
Nice.
And then the last thing I think is probably the most scariest thing to do with Star Wars is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He is so freaky and he's insane.
There's an insane amount of like scary moments. I think for me they'd be the top three, and then if I had to choose one or two more, you've got the garbage compactor monster as well. That was a bit of a creepy one. Yeah.
Dianoga.
Yeah, and the Wampa hitting Luke for the first time.
Oh yeah, that pops up and scares the crap.
Yeah, that was a big one. Oh, and the Tusken Raider as well, and that pops up and whacks Luke as well. Yeah. That's it for me.
What about you, Taylor? What scares you?
Well, if you guys have been listening to our episodes, you'll know that when I was a child, my first experience with Star Wars, and actually this terrified me, was when Luke got his hand chopped off by Darth Vader. And oh my gosh, that scared me so bad. I don't even think I slept in my own room that night. Like, I think I slept in my mom's bed that night because I was so upset about it. And then my mom got all mad at my dad for putting it on when we were home. Well, he's like, it's Star Wars! And then anyways. So that scared me when I was a kid. But yeah, I was going to say exactly what Brandalorian said with, when Vader's just walking down that alley and he's so scary. His walk is terrifying. He's like, this is when he's like, I guess young Darth Vader, if you can say that. Like, he's not like super old, and he's angry and he's confused and he is insane. And oh my gosh, he just like throws that kid, and just like looking at him breathing is just terrifying. Like, I actually felt that like flutter in my heart when I was watching it.
That whole scene
last year, yeah.
When he's like chasing them up through that like coal mine area and stuff like that, they did a pretty good job of making that kind of scary.
So scary. Like, just even those shot with his shoulders, and it's just like, whoo, that's a bit scary. So those are my two, I guess, scariest moments. And yeah,
I have the Dagobah cave scene. It's funny because a lot of the guys who said that are around my age. And that just, from the moment that Luke turns and feels something and goes down, and and I rewatched that scene this morning, it just creeps me out. And then, it creeped me out for one reason when I was younger, and then as I got older and I realized what it meant, because when you're younger, you really don't know you don't really understand why Luke's face is in Vader's helmet.
Yeah,
But
just
and
a
as you
kid
get
like,
older,
ooh.
you still, I think the nostalgia of it freaks me out. Like, I'm gonna get like the heebie-jeebies when he walks down in there. But then, when that battle happens and the way it's filmed, when he chops off his head and sees that kind of gives me like some crazy vibes.
Yeah.
And I was reading a bunch of stuff. When Kylo Ren first arrives on Exegol, the opening scene with the thunder and the lightning, you're like trying to figure out what's going to happen. I thought that was kind of creepy, personally.
The Emperor's eyes in that movie,
Yeah,
just the glowing, creepy yellow eyes are pretty good. Those are pretty scary.
and hearing his voice and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like they ruined it with showing a bunch of that stuff. Like, they did so
They
many.
should have kept it.
They should have
Yeah.
kept that hidden. I don't know. People are going to go see it regardless. Vader hallway scene in Rogue One. It's probably one of my favorite
Oh,
scenes. But if you
so
imagine
good.
being those troopers, how terrifying that would be.
You're like, well,
Um,
I'm done in 5 seconds. Like,
and then I got 2 left. I got the mask coming down on Anakin when he becomes Vader for the first time, like knowing like
yeah.
he's going to be trapped in that. And I know these
Yeah.
aren't like legitimate like scary scenes, but like give me the heebie-jeebies. Like, what's coming, and it's like it's kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
And just seeing that mask coming down on him, knowing like that's his life until he dies. And
Yeah. And his
then
skin's all like burned. His eyes are all like popping out of his head. Yeah.
finally, Anakin walking into the Jedi Temple with the 501st to kill and to wipe out the
Everyone.
Jedi Order. Just,
Oh, God. I can just
I'm
hear
just
the
like,
music.
ugh. Like, just thinking, I was like, woo. But
Yeah.
and when I first asked this question, I was like, oh, this is going to be a really hard one because I didn't think I was going to be able to find anything. I don't really think scary. I don't know about you
No.
guys, but man, there's tons of it in Star Wars.
Oh, there's
And it,
loads.
and it just, I never thought about like the hand thing, like you said, Taylor, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's so many things in here. But yeah, that's
Or
a
like
great list.
when Kenobi chops the Aqualicia's arm off and there's like blood
Oh
spraying or whatever.
yeah.
Or what, just like those originals. Yeah, you're right. Burnt body carcasses smoking away and slicing open guts of space animals. What do you mean Star Wars isn't appropriate for 4-year-olds,
Yeah,
husband?
no. I sit there and think about it. I'm like, whoa, maybe not. I did reach out to Hank the Tank, and he told me
Oh,
nothing scares him in Star Wars, and I was like, all right, Hank.
not
So,
surprising.
yep, Hank the
That
Tank.
kid's amazing.
So, but he'll be he's going to join me next week for a little interview before we do our main show next week. So that'll be exciting.
Ooh.
All right. So our next listener, Kathleen, she gave us a few. She said, so this is a tough one. Her first one would be, I thought the Rancor was super scary as a kid. The sound, the teeth, and the saliva. So,
Yeah, right. Like rips a guy's head right off. Like,
oh yeah, just bites that Gamorrean. So,
yeah.
Next, we've got the garbage compactor, because they didn't like the small spaces as a kid or anything, but would swim and touch me.
ugh.
And I mentioned hated swimming in lakes around here as well because they're murky.
Yeah, here in Kansas, Kathleen's a friend of mine. All the water, there's not a lot of elevation, so the water's just kind of dirty looking.
Oh man.
And so like, you just bump something, you don't know what you bumped into. It's freaky.
Giant catfish.
Yeah. Yes. What's that? Taylor, can you see that last one?
Yeah. Her third one. I don't know that it was scary since I don't know that it was scary since I watched as an adult, but in Rebels, when Ahsoka fights Darth Vader, that was so intense. And when Caitlin saves everyone, both of those scenes still get me when I rewatch them. Yeah, I like cried when I watched that like a couple months ago. That scene.
Yeah, those are powerful scenes, and that's why I like. That's the thing about Star Wars too, is like you watch it one time and it makes you feel one way, and I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool how different scenes can make different people feel different stuff. Like I never thought of like Kanan's death scene as being scary, but I guess if you were a kid watching that series as it was coming out, watching him do that would probably be terrifying. Have to mommy and daddy be answering some questions. So, but yeah, wow. All right. Well, we'll take a break from those reading, and then we're going to hop into our next question for you guys. Okay, so for our next question for you guys, would you want, and this is something we've been talked about, would you want to see a horror Star Wars movie, like a scary, legitimate, like scary Star Wars movie? Now, given the fact that like it wouldn't be, I guess we could say rated R. I'm assuming PG-13 at the max. But
Hmm.
would you want to see that? I mean, I know Star Wars is family to a lot of people. So, what are your, if
Yeah.
you would want to see it, what would be something that you think would be scary?
Okay. So yes, we like it's Disney, and there's never been any kind of like horror in Star Wars. But I think that Star Wars has evolved so much over the years. Like we have books, we have like these audio dramas. There's a Star Wars for everybody out there. So I say, why not to a Star Wars horror movie? And I'm not saying like a Star Wars gory, like, oh, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm talking about like something like spooky, scary. That would be cool. Just a different taste of Star Wars and it more serious, kind of like Andor. And Andor was different, and everybody loved it for the most part. I know not everybody can be impressed, but I would love to watch a horror movie in Star Wars.
Any like, do you have any ideas like what you'd want it to be? I mean, if not, it's fine. That's a tough question just to come off the top of your head.
Yeah, I think like being I want to say Lost in Space because I love that TV show
Ooh.
too. But like they need to address some of the things like space travel and like freaky stuff like that, like landing on a planet that has the Drengir or whatever, and like it actually being scary and not being like like in like tense, but you're never like scared.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope. Yeah. No.
So it'd be cool for something like actually scary to like. I don't know, even in The Mandalorian when they're sitting around the campfire and then two of the guards of Grief Karva get taken away by these giant dragons, and it's just like, oh, we're still not even scared. But dragons have just flown out of the dark and stolen people. And we're just like, yep, Grogu's fine. So a little taste of like actually like scary would be kind of cool. All right. I think. Jack, Star Wars, there's a Star Wars for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack, what about you? Scary Star Wars?
Yeah, those are funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was terrifying. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I'm gonna combine your guys' two. So they're lost. Jedi's are taking the Nameless. They're flying them back to Coruscant to study. The ship breaks down, and the Nameless get out on the ship.
Oh my god! Then it's like Aliens.
Be kind of like the movie Aliens, but with Jedi. That'd be kind of cool.
Sigourney Weaver as a Jedi.
Maybe throw some like I don't know, like throw some Empire people on there, or some alien like prisoners that escape, and just kind of have it, more than just that. But yeah, I'd be down for it. I get to cheat because I come up with the questions, but and I've heard this one before. I want to see when they're setting up Echo Base on the planet on Hoth. I want to see them having to fight like Wampas because originally there was more scenes with Wampas like fighting stormtroopers and stuff. So like maybe like setting that up, there's a whole thing of Wampas in there, and they're fighting them, and people are disappearing, and you could add something to it. And then I also thought, Taylor, you kind of brought up the Drengir, the book Into the Dark. Is it Into
That's
the Dark?
The next one I think I'm going to read. I think that's the next one.
They're on the Maxine station, and that one gives me a kind of an Aliens vibe too. And you don't know what's happening because that's like the first time you'll see the Drengir, and you don't really understand what's happening. And that book kind of has a horror kind of thing because it's like tense, and you're like, what's happening? What's going on? So I think the books have some of it. I think it would play out fine. You could set it as a standalone. It makes it a little bit tense. You still have Jedi in it. You could do it like Andor. I mean, it would definitely work. And like you
Yeah,
guys said,
actually, I did read that one, and then where there's the station can like send out these pods to different
Mhm.
planets and stuff, and it was just like you think that they're getting blown up, but they're not, so they're just
Yeah.
being transferred. So I did read that book, but I just finished. Oh God, I can't remember which one it is now. They're all of them have such darn similar names: Fallen Star, Rising Star, The Rising Star.
The
I just
Rising
finished
Storm is what you just finished.
Storm. I just finished that one.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're getting ready to read The Fallen Star.
Yes. Okay. There we go. So
So,
that's the next one, and
and that has a double
yeah.
meaning to it, by the way.
God, Starlight Beacon. I mean, I kind of know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually, yeah. And I did kind of read the comics before I read the Into the Dark book, and I had no idea where the Drengir come from. And I also didn't know that the Drengir were giant plants. I thought they were just like aliens or something.
Yeah.
So reading the Into the Dark book, like, explained it. I was like, oh. So now I'm reading the comics with Keeve Trennis and stuff, and they
Yeah,
make
the
a lot more
Abars is
sense
a
the
big
second
part in
time
that.
around.
But
Yeah, it was awesome.
they would be a good horror thing with using those. So, all right. So our readers, we have another. Sorry, our listeners and viewers. We've got Jedi Master Eric from our High Council episodes.
Hey, Eric.
He gave us a couple things. First one is the Dathomirian witches. When I first saw Dathomir arc in the Clone Wars, the witches gave me weird vibes, mainly because I didn't understand how their magic worked. The ability to revive beings, make them zombies, or use mind control without the Force freaked me out. So
Yeah.
I think that's a common one for people, kind of weirded out. And you got to kind of think about it too as a kid, because watching some of that stuff would be freaky.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. There's a lot of insectoid alien species out there.
Yeah, there
We
really
can't be speciesists. He says his third thing was the Drengir. As I'm reading the High Republic Phase 1, ha, Eric, we are right on the same page, I swear.
I just
find
gave him 5
myself
stars, so.
Oh, did you? Okay, good. We're literally at the same point in the Phase 1. But I read Phase 2 first, so I think I'm ahead of him. I find myself being freaked out and curious about how their mind control works. The idea of a sentient plant putting roots inside me is terrifying. When you put
It is a
that way.
creepy thought.
You know, it's so funny because I remember reading the part where they were stepping on the plants in the wherever the Maxine station, and the droids going around that take care of the plants were like starting to like pinch the people and like cut them and attack the people for stepping on the plants. And I'm like, oh my god, this is how I feel every day at the zoo when I see a kid walk into my garden that I just finished bark mulching, and I'm just like, ah!
Oh my god.
Yes. Sorry.
Number 4, George Lucas's portrayal of romance. I don't think we have to go too far into this one, but Anakin and Padme's relationship has never been one that should have been greenlit without some help. Why would a 14-year-old queen be into an 8-year-old servant boy? Why would him going on a rampage and killing an entire village of people be something you're cool with? I guess I find this lack of ability to write romance scary. So yeah, that's that's I would agree with you. The romance story in Attack of the Clones is scary. So
yes.
All right.
Is George single? George is single now.
Well,
right?
he was going through some, I think he's been divorced once or twice, so maybe he was in a downturn. But all right, my next question for you guys will be this one. What would your ultimate cosplay / Halloween costume be? Like if you could have someone make you something or you could make it yourself, what would it be? Like what costume from Star Wars, creature, whatever? Nothing, there's no limit to it. What would you want?
Oh, sick. I would want the like coolest Mandalorian cosplay ever with like my own painting designs and stuff on it.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, with like the speaker and the helmet and everything. Oh, so cool. Yeah, that's what I would want. Somebody make that for me. I'll love you forever.
Oh God! If I
I'm a
had my
size
way,
medium.
if I had my way, and I had the resources and they'd do exactly what I needed them to do, I'd go for a Jabba the Hutt.
Ah!
100%.
Jabba the Hutt.
100%. Failing that, I'd just do a Gamorrean guard, I think.
That would
Oh
be.
my god.
I didn't see any of them this year at Celebration. When I was in Chicago, I saw a Gamorrean guard that was amazing, and then a bunch of Jedi, like Kit Fisto and some other ones that were just I've never seen
Oh,
before. It was
that's so
incredible.
cool.
I'm trying to think what would I want. I mean, my first one obviously is a Balin outfit, but that doesn't really make me dress up, other than the costume.
Yeah.
If I get to wear a
I already
full-on
look like you.
costume, oh, man, this is a simple one, but I've always loved the AT-AT or the AT-AT drivers. I'm not sure why. I always loved them as a kid. I just kind of go with that, I think. Simple.
Uh,
Uh, but yeah, that would be fun. So that'll be cool. Our next reader is Lacey. She's also she was a Jedi Master from I think she was on our first High Council one, the one we did about Ahsoka.
yes, she
So
was.
her first one is pretty funny. All right.
Hey, Lacey.
Her number one, scared of Kathleen Kennedy producing any more movies. Ouch.
Sorry.
Brilliant.
Lacey,
Brilliant.
you're killing me.
Next one that she mentioned was that she was scared that Rex was going to kill Ahsoka during Order 66.
Oh, yeah, during that arc at the end of
Yeah.
Clone Wars. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, man. That would have been heartbreaking. She said that she was scared and heartbroken of Anakin turning into Darth Vader. Oh, that makes me cry every time I watch it, even though I know it's coming. Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Her third one, scared. Wait, no, you just read that. Sorry. Scared that we would never know Luke Skywalker's wife. Okay, so she must be a fan of Mara Jade from the Legends.
Yeah.
Which I've never read anything about Mara Jade. Like I know who
Me
she
neither.
is and stuff, but like as soon as they made all that Legends, I just was like, yeah, I'm done. Like I'm not gonna bother. So
Off the bucket list.
yeah, really did.
And the last one, I think it goes for everybody that eventually she's scared that Star Wars could possibly end.
That might be the scariest thing I've heard all day.
Oh my
Could you
gosh.
imagine?
It wouldn't.
Yeah, that would be
The
awful to go
fandom wouldn't let
through.
it happen.
Yeah, there's too much money involved. It won't happen. But yeah, that would be
Well,
terrifying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, I have a really tough last question for you all. Have you ever
Here we
dressed up
go.
as a kid or as an adult for Halloween as a Star Wars character?
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta tell me what, Jack.
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, God.
Sandtrooper. Yeah, I do a lot of charity work with the UKG lot still, so
All right.
if I'm not out with those lads and girls, I'll don it for Halloween.
What about as a kid?
Yeah.
As a kid. No, just go around as a devil.
Not much has changed.
I was gonna say, I thought we said dress up. All right.
Well, yeah. Yeah, no, just go around as a little devil.
All right. What about you, Taylor?
I never dressed up as anything Star Wars when I was a kid, but my brother did. I think my brother was Anakin Skywalker one year, and like my cousins were all Darth Vader. My husband was Darth Vader, I think 4 years in a row when he was a kid. I literally have pictures of all different costume every year, but you know. But no, I never dressed up as anything Star Warsy when I was a kid. But I did last year. I was like an Imperial commander last year, so that was fun. I like that.
As a kid, I don't remember what grade it was, and it's kind of funny because Hank and I, there's a photo my mom has of Hank in his costume and me in the same costume when I was a kid, but we both dressed up as Yoda. My mom made me a burlap. I don't know how she made the cloak. She made me a cardboard orange snake because, like, when you got the the toy when you were a kid. It had that orange snake that went around Yoda's neck. So I had that. I had a mask. I had a little cane that I walked with, and I usually send out a Happy Halloween thing to all my coworkers at school with that picture on it. So, but yeah, I did that, and of course, I'll probably do Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tuesday. And then sometimes I did actually dress up like this guy. That's why I have this helmet. 1 year for Halloween, I made my own, the box and all that stuff. It was real janky and not 501st approved, but
no.
it was fun.
Brilliant.
I liked it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But
apparently, the TIE fighter pilot is one of the easiest costumes to get into the 501st because the flight suit can be used for 3 different costumes.
Oh, nice.
So, so I have a friend who's like, I have 3 costumes for you to come and try and see which one fits you, and he only lives 7 minutes away, but I don't know. I just keep forgetting to go pick it up.
Gotta do it, Taylor. You gotta do it.
I know.
You guys have any more Halloween stories or questions for us?
No, I think that's about it from me.
All right. Well, we have 3 more people before we finish up our Halloween special. So we're going to go ahead and dive into those last 3 listeners. And our first one, all the way from South End on Sea, is Johnny Olaf. He says Darth Vader in the corridor in Rogue One, which I think it was on my list.
Yeah.
You ever see those? They say at the light at the end of the tunnel, and then they have that picture of Vader's light, and you're like, if that's your light at the end of the tunnel, that's sad and scary. We got another vote here from Johnny, dragging families from their homes in Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I think he and Brandalorian both found that one pretty disturbing. I think most people kind of found that disturbing.
It is. That was like the closest to horror that we've gotten in Star Wars.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I think if you watch the behind the scenes, Ewan McGregor even says how it kind of freaked him out.
Yeah.
It was
Ewan didn't expect him to be like as tall as he was, and they didn't practice like in the suits or anything. And he said that he like generally felt fear when he was doing the skit that they had been working on for so long. But all of a sudden, Darth Vader was so scary to him, like while they're filming, and also the volume around doesn't help. So it's like, oh my god, I actually am Obi-Wan.
Well, that's what too. I guess I never thought about it. He never faces Darth Vader until then. Like as an actor, he would never have been, in the room or anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then Johnny also has one from the High Republic that I think that anyone who reads the High Republic would agree with. The Nameless in the High Republic. Turns out what scares the Jedi also scares me, written in such a visceral way. And I think when you get into the Phase 2 stuff, I know you've read that already, but man, those things are terrifying.
Yeah.
So,
oh my god, how they describe them, and even like there's a couple pictures of them out there that are in some of the comics, and it's like terrifying.
Yeah, and as they feed, they get stronger and bigger, and it's just like by the size of it how many people it's probably killed. And it's just
and like the audiobooks when they're eating them, it makes it sound so terrible.
Yeah. So that's all from Johnny. So what do we got next, Taylor?
Oh, well, we've got one from Alex Jessup. Hey, bud. Palpatine in Tross. Okay, yes. I thought that he was terrifying in that too. Some genuine, scary stuff from Ian McDermott. Yes. The White Spiders in season 2 of Mando. Yes, those were super, super creepy. And they were supposed to be, recycled from Ralph McQuarrie's artwork. Yes, I knew that.
Yep.
And so that stuff is like original Star Wars that they've like reused, which is awesome. Maul's Madness, where he's found on the junk planet in Clone Wars. Even though it's animated, the voice work of Sam Witwer makes it really believable, along with excellent animation. Yes.
Yeah.
He's so insane that you're just creeped the whole time.
Yeah, it is a wonky couple episodes with him when he's trying to come back from being his madness and everything. So, but yeah, Molly, I told Molly what we were doing, and the first thing she says was those white spiders from Mando.
They are creepy.
So,
Grogu's like eating one,
creepy.
like, oh yeah, like, oh
yeah. Oh man, yeah, the Ian McDermott stuff when his fingers are all missing and he's like, just doing kind of weird stuff.
It was the
Pretty,
eyes,
pretty.
the yellow eyes for me.
Yeah, yeah. So those are some good ones, Alex.
Yeah, what else do we
And
have?
we've got Jake Swinburne. He reached out to
Swinny!
us, and his number 5 is Luke's Vision in Dagobah. So a lot of people that makes uneasy. He also said the
Yes.
trash compactor scene in A New Hope. So there's
Yep, claustrophobic. Yep.
yeah. This one's kind of a different one we haven't heard yet. Rebels, Kanan and Sabine being possessed. So
That
that
is
one
a
was,
good
we talked about,
one.
because I think you and I did the Night Witches one, and we talked about that a little bit. But that is a scary part. And then Grievous's body parts at Nadar Veb, so like that base he has, and he has all those extra body parts just hanging around.
Yeah. Oh my god. His like story that he's got like in all of his little caverns, that story gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
Like he's just never happy with his new evolutions. And
I'm going to have to look this one up because it's from the Resistance show, and I haven't really watched all those. Have you watched those, Taylor?
I watched the first one, and I just couldn't get into it. But I need to rewatch them again now that we've seen, the dad
so
and stuff. Yeah.
He says Resistance Bibbo, and then I'm going to scroll down here because he gave us a lot of good stuff here. He says, Bibbo really brought my childhood fears of the whale and Pinocchio. Water is probably the scariest. So water is probably the scariest thing in the real world. We know so little about what's in its deepest, darkest spots of our own ocean. That episode in Resistance brought that fear of the unknown to light. So I'm going to have to watch that episode. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, that actually makes me like, oh, what are we missing out on, Jimmy? Gosh.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to dive into that. And the Rebels one, too, I thought was interesting. As for Rebels, nothing gets you worried like the thought of loved ones turning on each other. Ezra already was alone in the galaxy in many ways. To have a battle with 2 people that he cared about because the possession is pretty creepy. So, yeah, that's a pretty good... Yeah, Swinny's definitely looking at this from a different point. And I didn't think of it that way. I just saw, like, creepy zombies, but the idea of, like, losing your loved ones and having to like fight them yourselves, kind of like a Walking Dead kind of deal.
Real world fear.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, Swinny, way to go on those. All 3 of you guys, thank you for sending those in. Awesome. Those are,
man, we're just right freaked out now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that Resistance episode.
All
right, well then, Taylor, do you want to take us out?
Yeah. Well, happy Halloween from us guys, and from me, for light and life.
And from me, trick or treat.
And for all of us, we have spoken. Have a happy and safe Halloween, everyone.